In the MCU, we have been blessed with so many amazing characters. That is mostly because the MCU cast are usually A-list celebrities or really good actors. I mean, this whole series started off with RDJ and was followed with the likes of Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, and so many others. So this is why it is difficult to make the choice of who is my favorite character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but after careful consideration and deliberation with myself, I would say it has to be Thor. I mean, Thor is the only character that has had 4 of his own standalone movies: Thor 1, 2, 3, and 4, and he has been the lead in all 4 of them, which I think is very awesome, and you really have to give your props to Chris Hemsworth. This franchise has helped to completely elevate his career and make him available on a whole new scale. But going more specifically into the character of Thor, who is Thor? Thor is the god of thunder, he is the son of Odin, and he's part of Norse mythology, you know, from the Vikings and the Nordic people and all of that such, which I honestly do not have too much history with. I don't know too much about it, but I do know the basics. And I think that it is so awesome, the adaptation that Marvel was able to use and infuse that into their storylines, breaking that from the own mythology. But looking at Thor in the cinematic universe, his character development arc is honestly impeccable. I think that yes, the 4th movie, Thor Love and Thunder, really kind of took away from the first 3 movies what they did. I mean, the 4th movie was utterly trash, I won't lie, but I don't think that takes away from everything on the larger scale. I mean, in the first movie, we meet him kind of as an arrogant, cocky prince who knows he's going to be king. He's very powerful, very strong, and he's not afraid to start wars and start fights. But yet in that movie, he kind of learns about how, you know, it's not about, you know, being the strongest, it's about being the most caring and looking after the well-being of your people. You're not starting and engaging reckless wars and battles that are going to kill your civilization and the people that look up to you. And then moving into the second movie, which although isn't that good, I think there were definitely still moments, and it's about him having to deal with personal trauma. I mean, his mom literally gets cooked up right in front of him. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And in that movie, he really worked with Loki and use him more so as a brother than an enemy, which we saw in the first Avengers movie and in Thor 1. Moving on to Thor 3, Ragnarok, which is one of my favorite MCU movies of all time. This movie really did everything together. I mean, we're coming off of Avengers Age of Ultron, so we know what happens there. And then we're kind of wondering, because, you know, Thor and Hulk were both absent in Avengers Civil War. In this movie, Thor Ragnarok, we really get to see Chris Hemsworth, you know, be him. And I saw somewhere that most of this movie was improv. Taika Waititi is known for being more of an improv guy, you know. I feel like these quick lines that they were coming up with off their head, rather than being written down, you know, days or weeks prior, really helped the flow of the movie to make it feel, you know, more funny, more lighthearted, but yet there was such a deep-rooted story. I mean, he literally loses his father, and then he has to somehow overcome that and realize that, you know, he's been in his father's shadow the entire time. You know, he's not just his father. That's not his benchmark. That's not his standard. But yet he can go levels and levels above that. And I think that his power-up scene at the end where his whole body just hones with lightning, that was just one of my favorite movies ever. And then moving on to Avengers Infinity War, you know, coming off this very strong Ragnarok where Thor is really strong. Thor is actually the one that starts it off. If you do not remember, it is Thanos that comes to his ship, kills his best friend, kills his brother, claps the Hulk, and it's just Thor by himself, and somehow he manages to survive. And then yet that starts him on his whole journey where he's bent to take Thanos' head. And he eventually does get it, although it did happen in Endgame, you know what I'm talking about. But back to Infinity War, through this whole story, he serves as the bridge between the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers. He's actually the only person that gets to see all of these different groups, which is so cool. And I think that just like his moment of where he has to make the new hammer, Stormbreaker, it is just such a great scene where he's holding the thing open. It kind of reminded me of the Captain America scene where he's holding onto the helicopter in Civil War, holding onto the platform, that way Zemo doesn't get away. And so I think that Thor really was gifted some of the best scenes, and I think that Chris Hemsworth performed excellently. I know that going forward, Thor will still have a large role with the Avengers, and I hope that they give him a justified ending and something very sweet and meaningful. I can't wait to see what they do. Please make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and as always, I will see you next time.